Donald Trump continued to lash out at the FBI over the raid it conducted on his Mar-a-Lago residence. And this is, of course, following news that Trump had taken classified White House documents home with him to Mar-a-Lago, which is against the law. You can't do that. Now, it's still unclear whether that raid had, other investigatory issues involved. I don't really believe that it's just about those documents. I think that there's probably something else involved here, but that's my speculation. I want to be clear about that. But here's what Trump wrote on Truth Social, which I would say you shouldn't write or post if you want to look innocent. He says the FBI and others from the federal government would not let anyone, including my lawyers, be anywhere near the areas that were rummaged and otherwise looked at during the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Everyone was asked to leave the premises. They wanted to be left alone without any witnesses to see what they were doing, taking, or hopefully not, planting. So he's accusing the FBI of planting evidence against him, which makes me think there's evidence against him and it wasn't planted by the FBI.
Why would you think that?
Because he's a freaking obvious criminal in my mind, okay? Why did they strongly, he says, insist on having nobody watching them, everybody out? Obama and Clinton were never raided despite big disputes. Okay,
what disputes?
First of all, let's just take anything Trump or his lawyers say at face value, because we weren't there and we don't know what the truth is of whether or not the lawyers were allowed to be in the room. I do know that the lawyers were alerted to the fact that there was about to be a raid, right? It's not like they were blindsided by it. They knew it was coming. And the idea that the FBI planted evidence, there's no evidence that they planted evidence, let's just say that. But there is evidence that Trump is terrified and he's trying to find a way to, I guess, provide cover for anything that might be damning, anything that they might have found that might be damning. Now, the FBI raid was again related to those documents that Trump took from the White House. While some suggested that this might confirm that Trump is guilty. Here's one tweet: "Nothing could confirm Trump's guilt more than this statement this morning suggesting the FBI planted evidence. He got caught and he knows it. This is what guilty people say. Expect this to be the new GOP talking point." And by the way, remember the FBI's director, meaning the head of the FBI, is Christopher Wray, who was appointed by Trump and confirmed by every single Republican senator who voted at all on whether or not to confirm him. Okay, so it's not like you have, I don't know, a group of Jacobins in the FBI conducting an investigation into Donald Trump. The FBI overall has been a very right-wing intelligence organization in this country.
Yeah, but only since it was founded.
Exactly. So it's like, this is insane.
Well, and that's really why it's one of the most insidious. Like, I get totally why he's saying this. I get why. Like the second one of his lawyers said they're planting evidence, every single right winger was like, "Oh, so that's all I'm talking about for the next 3 days?"
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But what's so insidious is the FBI, as with basically every law enforcement organization in this country, has a million reasons they've given us to be suspicious of what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and why there are no consequences for the times that they break the law. They deserve to be endlessly criticized, and reform is massively overdue. In this case, though, to pretend that your issue is with the FBI and the planting evidence or their procedure or how they get the warrant or whatever is co-opting rightful needed criticism of law enforcement in service of protecting one of the most wealthy, powerful people in the history of our country.
Bingo, yes.
It is sickening to see people using that and thereby defanging the criticism that we need, because now it's just a political talking point.
Right.
I guess sometimes the right throws it out, sometimes the left throws it out. It's not substantive, it's just an opportunistic political thing that we do.
It's an important and really, really good point, because there is substance behind the left wing's criticism of the FBI, namely their involvement in COINTELPRO, which I talked about on the show yesterday, where they conducted all sorts of illegal surveillance of left-wing organizations, activists, environmentalists, feminists, civil rights activists, all of that. I mean, the FBI does not have a good history. The FBI's involvement in orchestrating coups in other countries with the help of the CIA. And of course, these coups were done toward democratically elected leftist leaders. I mean, the list goes on and on. Those are substantive, evidence-based critiques from the left. And now we're gonna see a false equivalency between the left's accusations and what the right wing is doing. Not to actually go after the FBI and the bad behavior that we've seen historically from this intelligence agency, but specifically to provide cover for a man who is now, I mean, he's undergone so many investigations in his life already. Right now, he's undergoing several investigations. This is just one of them. And by the way, just a little more information about this whole classified documents thing, right? I think it's relevant to get into this. So it turns out that Donald Trump himself made some pretty relevant decisions pertaining to the consequences someone would have to pay if they are mishandling classified documents. I would venture to say that he was thinking about Hillary Clinton when he did this, but didn't think that it would be applied to him. One of the multiple laws covering the mishandling of government information is one that Trump himself amended during his tenure in the Oval Office. Tucked into a bill Trump signed into law in January of 2018 was a provision increasing punishment for knowingly removing classified materials with the intent to retain them at an unauthorized location, which is what he allegedly did when he took classified documents from the White House. He took them home with him over to Mar-a-Lago. That's why he got raided. Previously, someone found guilty of this crime would face up to 1 year in prison. Now a person convicted of violating this crime can face up to 5 years in prison, making it a felony level offense to mishandle classified documents. Trump did that, but he didn't think it'd be applied to him because he thinks he's above the law. He thinks he could do whatever he wants.
And I think he's still right on that.
No, I mean,
they had the raid, staying in a cell.
He's never gonna serve time in prison. We know that, But look, Trump is gonna Trump. This is who he is, okay? He's a wannabe mobster. He conducts business like a wannabe mobster. He's a gross individual who used his position of power to rip off the American people, to funnel taxpayer money to his personal businesses. That is what he did. He, like victimized his own supporters through his campaign emails where they thought they were donating one time to his legal efforts to overturn the results of the election with absolutely no evidence of voter fraud. But then it turned out to be recurring donations. And people on fixed income didn't know what was going on. Their bank accounts were drained by recurring donations to Donald Trump, which he then, of course, didn't even use for his election legal battles. So this is what's going on. This is who this guy is. And of course, like good little boys and girls, all of the right-wing media people in the periphery have decided to just regurgitate these talking points, like Ainsley Earhart. Let's hear from her real quick.
His lawyers said they brought in backpacks. What was in those backpacks? Did they bring those in to fill them up, or did they have something in there?
I suspect that there will also be more litigation on this. I mean, because I think there'll be an attempt to say, did they have a warrant that said they could break into a safe?
What was in their backpacks? I'm being a very good girl. I'm just regurgitating this talking point that's meant to provide cover for a powerful person who I don't think should serve any consequences for potential criminality that he engaged in. That's what this is about. That is actually the most depressing part of this, okay? That you have ordinary Americans, not Ainsley, I'm sure she's making millions on Fox and Friends, okay? But I'm talking about ordinary voters. I don't care if you're a Republican, okay? What I'm trying to get you to understand is that we shouldn't have a two-tier justice system that would rain terror on you if you did the same thing that Trump did, but somehow provides protections for Trump because he happens to be a powerful person. That's not right.
Yeah, it's my final point. It's so weird on Fox News, like the multifaceted, complex, nuanced hypnosis that you undergo, where it's Donald Trump, who not only, like, we know that dude crimes on a constant basis, but specifically here, they appear to be investigating him for boxes of documents that we know he took. No one is actually disputing that he has the stuff, and they're going to get it. So obviously they're planting evidence. We have no evidence, we have no reason to believe that. We're just gonna throw out that obviously you should believe that this is entirely false. They got a false warrant, they're planting false evidence to falsely hoax the president and get him from not being able to run automatically. At the same time, like last week, Tucker Carlson once again is telling you that, oh, you know that cop that you're watching the video of him on someone's neck? He didn't kill him.
Yeah, no.
You're watching it happen. No, obviously he's innocent. Why would you suspect that his knee pressing the guy's neck was related to him dying? It was total coincidence.
I think about Tamir Rice on a regular basis, okay? Because the same crew that's like totally against investigating Donald Trump because they think that they see him as a martyr. They see him as like someone who's just, they genuinely think he is the target of a witch hunt, which blows my mind. A lot of these people are the same people who provided cover for the cop who shot and killed a 12-year-old boy playing with a toy gun at a park within 2 seconds of showing up at that scene. Tamir Rice killed, gunned down by a cop within 2 seconds because he was playing with a toy gun at a park.
Back to blue.
What's wrong with you people? When you're providing cover for authorities raining terror on innocent people, and then also providing cover for powerful people actually engaging in criminality, you've got your priorities freaking mixed up, man.